tomato. Did you know that tomato is actually a fruit and not a vegetable? Well, I think a lot of people know that. But growing up, I like to eat tomato raw. Whatever I put in my dish, it has to be raw. If it's cooked, it's not my thing. But maybe that's the whole reason why I knew a long time ago that it's a fruit, because I eat it like a fruit. I eat it raw. I enjoy tomato a lot. But in today's recipe, it's gonna be an actual dish, a soup that's made from tomato, and I call it tomato soup. Simple as that. But this recipe is very simple. It's an easy recipe, very comforting, and especially when you feel you just want a comfort food, I think this is a way to go. This is all you need to make this delicious, simple tomato soup. 2 tomatoes, 2 eggs, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of pepper, 1 teaspoon of chicken powder, about a teaspoon of soy sauce, and you also need chicken broth. So if you have regular water, that's fine too, but it just adds a little bit more flavor if you use the broth. So in this recipe I use organic chicken broth, but there's no salt added, so that's why my recipe is gonna have extra salt, extra soy sauce. Additionally, I also use just a little bit, a pinch of minced garlic, and also some cilantro. And if you don't have cilantro, if you don't like cilantro, you don't have to put it either. Alright, so for the tomato, just cut them into smaller chunks, not too small. Cut into half, and I always like to cut the top out first before I cut it further. It's just my thing, you don't have to do that. Cut out the top, cut into half, cut into another half, and then cut to another half. So that's it. That's the size, the cube that I want for my tomato. Too small is not good, too big is not good either. So that is the perfect chunk. And then for the cilantro, just chop it into smaller size, but leave it aside because that's gonna go in at the end. For the egg, just beat it up. Make sure it's all beaten up like this, and then leave it aside. So I use only a little bit of oil, that's why I didn't really mention it in the actual ingredients. Just put a little bit of oil into your pans, and then put the minced garlic in there. I just like a little bit of the garlic aroma, just a little bit, and then add the tomato right in. And then stir fry it for about 2 minutes. So it's okay that tomato is well cooked and mushy now because it's a soup and you don't need it to be raw. So cook it for about 2 minutes, and then I just put the entire can of chicken broth, and then cover it, cook it until it boils. Once it boils, add the ground pepper, the salt, the chicken powder, stir it, and then taste it out first. Sometimes, depending on your, again, chicken broth, and depending on the amount of salt you put in, it could be a little bit too salty already. So taste it first before you add additional soy sauce. In this recipe, for me, it's not that salty, so I added just about another teaspoon of soy sauce. And then lastly, just add the eggs. Egg is so fast to cook, and some people, they don't even wait until it boils, but me, I just like mine to be completely cooked, so I kind of put it all the way until it boils, and then I turn off the heat immediately. And then the last part of it is the cilantro, which is optional in this recipe. You can also use scallion in replacement of cilantro if you don't have it. It just Asian soup always has some sort of mince at the end, so I use the cilantro in this recipe. Put it at the end, don't need to put it while it's still boiling and cooking, and that's it. That's all you need to do, and your soup is done in less than 10 minutes, and this is how it looks like. smells good. I cannot wait to try it out. Let's do it. Again, if you don't like chicken broth, you can definitely replace it with regular water, but just play around with the sauce a little bit. Maybe a little bit of more soy sauce, more salt, just to make sure the flavor is balanced and not too bland. Another good thing I like about this broth is that it's very comforting. It's a soup that you drink it, you eat it while it's still hot on your couch, watching TV. Just be comfortable with it. It's that type of soup, very comfort food. But I have to say, for me, it's not that spicy. But my husband tried it earlier and he said it was a little bit spicy for him. So if you don't like spicy soup, don't put too much pepper. The ground pepper, just put a little bit instead of the entire teaspoon. I mean, I eat very spicy, so this is nothing to me. But that's it. That's the only thing that I would tell you to change in this recipe. What I like is that I did not put any sugar in it, but there's a sweetness coming out from that tomato and makes it so good. Natural flavor. Tomato. I still have like pretty big chunks in there. You can definitely cook it longer. Mine is like less than 10 minutes to make this soup. But if you cook it just a little bit longer, your tomato would be all mush up, like all blended together with the soup, and it's easier for you to eat and digest. But mine, I like it a little bit chunky, so I didn't cook it all the way through. Comfort food. Alright, so that's it. That's the entire recipe. Very simple, very easy, but they're all fresh ingredients. So when you have fresh tomato, when you have fresh eggs, make soup out of it. It's so easy to make. It takes less than 10 minutes, and you won't regret it, especially on a day that you feel like you don't want to move. Very good comfort food, and I don't think it's that fattening because tomato is not a fattening fruit, and eggs, nothing bad about it. But in this recipe, again, I emphasize on that piece that if you don't like spicy soup, cut down the ground pepper all the way to only a little bit or nothing, because this soup is on the spicier side because I eat spicy. Alright, that's it. I thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope you enjoy and like today's recipe. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And once again, I thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next video. Bye bye.